The Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with James Grande. That is right. It is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Show. We are here not talking your typical DFS slate, but we're going to look at a little bit of Underdog NBA Double Dribble contest action here. James and I are going to be drafting a double dribble team here. We're going to break down our picks. We're looking to win 100K with this lineup here. Grande, we are about a week away from the start of the NBA season here. There's a lot to talk about. We are excited to kick off the NBA year. We appreciate all of you that have been with us throughout the years, including last year into this season, getting ready for the NBA season. James, buddy, man, you excited for some NBA here?
Very excited. Very excited to kick off the year. Always a 2-game slate to start, which begins next Tuesday. Your Celtics trying to defend their champions. No repeat champions over the last, seven new champions in a row, yeah. 7 straight years. So we'll see how the Celtics look. They've looked pretty good in preseason.
They brought the exact same team back. So.
Same exact team. That always is interesting to see a championship team just run it right back. But obviously 3 members had a Olympic experience. They just kept winning. They kept playing well. But yeah, I mean, this is doing best ball is very fun. There's currently a lot of overlay. I mean, 75% full. So we still have 25% of the field still to go in the double dribble over on Underdog Fantasy. It's a $15 entry. First place, John. First place, $100,000.
Yeah.
Second place, $50,000. Third, 25. I mean, fourth, 20 G's. Top 10, you're winning 10,000 plus. As John has the board here as we're starting the draft.
Yeah, we are picking 6th here to
picking
begin
6th.
the year here. So
yeah, I mean, a pretty good spot, I think. Especially, you and I were talking earlier. I had a draft. I think both you and I have done drafts the last 2 days, and both ended up with the first pick. So we've obviously had the luxury of going Wemby in each of them. But it is a good feeling to pick at the middle of the draft. I actually kind of like where we're picking here too, John, because I think this is a good Jason Tatum spot, and wing depth, I think, is the worst position on the board.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, right? Wing depth just absolutely disappears.
Yeah, so I think this is a pretty good Tatum spot if he's there. Obviously, we're probably going to end up with one of Luka, SGA, Tatum, I would say, in your first round, middle of this draft as it kicks off. Giannis going 2 there.
Dude, someone just won the lottery with a Wemby 3.
Is Wemby 3rd off the board?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, no surprises yet.
Well, in terms of players taken, the order has
been different. Correct. Yeah. I got Giannis at 5 in one of my drafts, so I was pretty stoked about that.
So it looks like we're just going to end up with Tatum. I like getting Tatum here, especially with the wing depth.
100% agreed. No arguments. Again, this is a 12-team snake draft. For those of you who are unfamiliar, again, this is the Underdog Double Dribble Contest. $15 to enter. As James said there, it's 100K, right, to first place?
100K to first, 50K to second, and top 10 wins at least $10,000.
So the way this scoring here works, it's points scoring. Let's see if I pull this up, if it'll actually show. It will. So they break it down by weeks. Qualifiers, weeks 1 through 17. Finals are weeks 18 to 23. Quick clock, as you can see here as well, 30 seconds a pick. So these drafts are over fairly quickly. You can get them done in around an hour or so. So plenty of time to go ahead and check them out. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. You can scan the QR code here on the screen. Use promo code ALARM. New users who deposit get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a 99% off pick for their pick'em contest here. Again, you can use that deposit match for all of their contests and games over on Underdog, so you can check it out and enter in the Double Dribble contest and compete against James and I here as well. We are closing in. We are 5 picks away from our next selection.
Yeah,
I know you're squinting because you're trying to see what the board looks like here.
I was more. I saw Brunson go pretty early there. Got to be a Knicks fan going 10th overall. Not that I'm against Jalen Brunson. I'm just saying, obviously, a different team this year. I mean, the acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns, full season of OG, Hart, acquisition of Mikal Bridges. Like, I think Brunson's going to be the top dog, but 10th?
Right. Back quickly to the scoring. Again, as you guys can see here, points, blocks, steals, 3 points each, turnovers -1, assists and rebounds. Your weekly starters for your lineup, you get 2 guards, 2 wings, a big, and a flex. And basically, it's weekly scoring. Your highest scoring players for the week will count that week, and they'll automatically slide in because this is best ball. There's no waivers, there's no trades, there's nothing. The team you draft is the team that you have for the season. So picking depth matters. Everybody is afraid of the Joel Embiid playing time.
Yeah, I mean, my question, we're on the clock. My question, he went before us, but my question was like, when is it time to pick Embiid? Because if you get 50
he's not
games,
playing back-to-backs, and he's going to miss other games during the year.
Yes.
So over under 60 games played feels like maybe an under.
Under.
All right, we've talked wing depth. We do pick twice in a small span here-ish. Do you go Durant and just kind of solidify your wings?
Yeah, he's going to play 70 games. So I'm good with Durant. And now I think, we could.
There's so many guards in these next 8 picks.
Yeah, and Bam, who also is shooting threes now, and I think Bam's about to have. I think what told me that Miami is not effing around this year, John, is playing on a second leg of a back-to-back in preseason. That told me all I need to know about the Heat and where they are trying to go this year. So I'm also like, if we wanted to get our primary center out of the way, I like Bam available. And then obviously, like you said, there's tons of guards. Harden's going to be prime.
Dude, no Kawhi, no Paul George anymore. Like, this is the Showtime James Harden here for the Clippers this season.
Yeah, I think James Harden's an excellent fantasy asset this year. We just don't have any idea where Kawhi slots in. And Tyronn Lue even talked about it on Thursday. He's like, yeah, everything was good. He went to Team USA, and then suddenly his knee wasn't good. And now there's no timetable on his return. So, I like Harden. Bam. I mean, we talked about, like, Embiid. Philly is a really interesting team. Paul George is already hurt. Embiid's going to play. And I don't know if you saw the report earlier for George. There's even reports about Paul George potentially sitting back-to-back. So if you're having, Tyrese Maxey.
George already being hurt is not good for Paul George, right?
No, it's not. And so, like, Maxey, I see his name cut off. I obviously, I was a
I
big
threw him in the queue. We just lost Bam there. Center's off the board, 2 picks ahead of us. Your guy Zion is the next big.
Yeah, we don't. I think Bam for me was like the big that we wanted there. You and I have also talked about this. Perfectly good position to punt, right?
Yep.
I like one of these guards. If you want Harden by himself, Maxey sometimes by himself, a lot of times by himself, a lot of times with just one of the other big 3. So, also, like, if the Clippers fall out of contention, obviously James Harden's not playing at the end of the year. Right?
I agree with you. I'm gonna go Maxey for that reason. I think Maxey's gonna be the Iron Man of that Philly team here this year.
Agreed. I mean, they need him to be, right. They gave him a big contract. He's on commercials with Bill Belichick, on Underdog commercials, John.
Yep,
Underdog commercials with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So, like, the sky's the limit for Tyrese Maxey and what he can do this year.
Yeah. Again, shoots 3, scoring's been great there. So I'm definitely fine. So we got a guard and 2 wings. As what have you found to be your general positional builds? If you draft Wemby, you're not going 3 centers deep, probably, or 4 centers, deep. Where do you find your roster construction laying out here? 16 rounds? Is that what we got here?
Yeah. So basically, I have drafted 3 centers, but I will not. And then I don't necessarily care on like the construct other than that, right? Because you'll
Yeah.
have 7, 6, and then 3 centers or something like that. Like we don't have the first center through the first first 3 picks. So we will definitely want to get 3 of them, whether that's now or later. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
um
Just kind of the
when
remaining centers on the board here. Evan Mobley's currently your top guy. Rudy Gobert, obviously there's no Karl Anthony Towns, but they bring in Randall. They also have Naz Reid off the bench. Do you see Gobert like being the guy this year? Or do you think they still sort of rotate around, that position here?
I mean, even with Towns there, Gobert played a lot of minutes, right? He was playing a lot of minutes. So I don't necessarily think that changes. We didn't see the Knicks ever really deploy Julius Randle as a center. So I think that's basically going to be Naz Reid's role as backup 5 and then playing alongside Rudy Gobert. I think if anything, Gobert's role, we're on the clock here, huh?
We are on the clock. We got Tyrese Maxey, Tatum, and Durant. We got a bunch of wings here. We can go Jalen Williams if you like.
I was gonna say there's 3 players there, 4 players really that I'm interested in. Jimmy Butler, which is surprising. I know you know I'm not like the biggest Jimmy guy, but I love what he's done. Jalen Williams is obviously my guy. Brandon Miller and Jonathan Kuminga. Those would be the 4 targets for me.
We just ran out of time on the clock and we took Paul George. Less than ideal.
Sucks. That's not great.
We'll learn to draft while recording as we move through here, but we now have PG-13 on
let's work on our queue here
on
because
here's what hurt me. Shut down with the ankle sprain 29 minutes ago.
I don't think it was. So they also took all their starters out at halftime. So
we'll work our queue because obviously we did not want Paul George.
Yeah. So like in that range, the 4 guys that I mentioned would be my targets: Butler, Williams, Brandon Miller, who had a monster preseason and also is just an elite offensive player. And getting to play with Lonzo Ball is going to help him, or LaMelo Ball, excuse me. And then Kuminga. I'm a big Kuminga guy this year. I think he's going to be definitively the second leading scorer on that team and possibly 20 plus points per game. I think there's a real path for him to get 20.
We do unfortunately now have 3 wings, so we probably need to focus on a different position here. So we are coming up to the next tier of bigs, which is Vucevic. Jaren Jackson's fine. Zach Edey looked really good during the preseason, and that I do worry a little bit when it comes to Triple J here because John Morant's back. Desmond Bane is out. Like they're a full team. This isn't the Jaren Jackson and 5 guys on 2-way contracts, you know? So I do worry a little bit with him. I don't mind Vucevic because I think one of 2 things happen. Either he plays or he gets traded in place. So,
I mean, I prefer Vooch over Triple J.
I agree. Because if not, the next tier is Duran, Turner, Claxton, guys that we do like as well from like a block shot standpoint. Offensively, Vucevic is the best offensive center of that group.
What do we got for guards?
I got Quickly. I like Quickly here.
Okay. I was going to say I'm good with Quickly or Giddey. I personally like Josh Giddey, the basketball player in Chicago, but I do like Quickly as well.
Would you rather Quickly or Jalen Green, who finished the year very strong for Houston?
I would probably go Quickly over Green, and then I'd probably also go Giddey over Green. But I think Giddey's definitely going to be.
The Giddey thing is interesting for me because they have guards, and Lonzo came back and looked pretty damn good.
He did. I don't see a scenario where Lonzo is full in any capacity for a long time. Because he even said he was like not in condition
for sure
wanted to be. Sure. He had not played in 2 years, right? So I don't think we see full Lonzo for a long time. And also we saw, not that I want, like you draft Giddey because he's the point guard on this team, but it's not like haven't seen him play off the ball. He spent the last handful of years with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So
I agree.
And even to another extent in FIBA when he plays with Patty Mills, right? So like he's been playing on and off the ball for quite a while here.
So we are 5 picks away now. The board's moving quickly because again, 30 seconds a pick. As you saw, we got caught talking and auto drafted Paul George. Which hey, you know what? There will be weeks where that works, right? This is
Philly's going to be a good team, and Philly's going to be a good. They're going to be good.
There are going to be nights where they're staggering back to backs with Paul George
Correct.
and Joel Embiid.
Correct.
So you'll have Maxey and Embiid, and then you'll have nights of Maxey and Paul George. Yep. So again, we're coming up to the next tier where the bigs are. Duran, Turner, Claxton are all there. We also have a couple of other guards. Cam Thomas just came off the board. Jamal Murray, who they were kind of taking it easy with as he works his way back again.
Yeah.
And then Desmond Bain.
The knee scares me for Murray because
I agree.
He's been
and they
fine.
brought Russell Westbrook in,
Yeah, I mean, like what happened? He had been fine all offseason, and then there's suddenly a knee. So I like both those bigs, obviously, as we're on the clock. Jalen Duren, new head coach, 30 minutes. I do like Miles Turner in that offense quite a bit. I'm good with both of them as our primary big.
Upside with Turner and offense. So I'll go Turner. He's not going to rebound. We know that. He'll get like 6-7 rebounds.
Yes.
But he does block shots and he does score. So
he is a fine peripheral producer outside of the blocks. Nothing great, but fine.
And we've talked about this. Our plan here is to draft a couple of centers. Turner's going to have weeks where he pays off. We know that. And then we'll hopefully, whether it is, there's Edey here. I don't know if you believe in him as a rookie. We both have talked a lot of liking Derek Lively, where he's going late in drafts. Yeah. So, with the best ball benefit, you can kind of stack a position where you think maybe you're a little bit weaker in, and kind of hope just to hit on the weeks that those guys go off.
Yeah. I do think that so Lively is your 27th ranked center. I'm assuming that's going to move a little bit with the Hartenstein injury, right? Because Hartenstein is ranked ahead of him now. So maybe we'll have to see when like the Valanciunas, Naz Reid type players come off the board because they're ranked right near Lively. So if we want Lively, we'll have to pay attention to that because once Naz Reid goes, Lively's not going to be on the board for much longer. I think that this is a pretty good
center run that just went. Durant, Edey, Lopez, Claxton. So.
I think that we probably and then 3 picks prior, we took Miles Turner. So like this has just been the center round. I do think Miles Turner is probably the best option of that group. I think Claxton probably has the highest ceiling if his offensive game can ever match what he brings
and the minutes, though, right? Like we need to trust that he's going to get because they have guys that they are okay playing behind him, and Ben Simmons was playing 5 at times last year.
Well, new head coach. True. Will that so everything there could potentially change. So
agreed.
I think this is a good. There was some very good guard depth right there.
How do you feel about Darius Garland here?
I think Darius Garland is being extremely overlooked this year because he is a very good basketball player that, there's been a lot of reports in Darius Garland. There was a death in the family last year. He said he didn't feel like himself. He said he had no fun playing basketball. They won all those games with Darius Garland not having any fun playing basketball.
Yeah, because he was hurt, right? Like he was dealing injuries and things.
And a death in the family. So like I'm sure that is a lot to take on. So Kobe White, Darius Garland, Austin Reeves is interesting. JJ Redick has deployed Reeves and has said that he's going to be on the ball a lot this year, which I think is very interesting if you're putting him on the ball. So I like this range.
I pulled on Garland just for the sake of time. Seems like we're both in sync on that play.
Let's look at what do we got like on the queue coming up, like in the wing room.
Yeah, we're about 12. So wings upcoming.
Yeah. So they'll all be gone.
Yeah, for the most part. I think we're probably looking more so in like this range of pick 84 is around here.
What about guards? What about guards?
So we're pick 91. So guys around ADP of 91. Those Jaquez, Collins, Thompson, Murphy. Guards around pick 91 ish is Hart. Anthony Simons.
Yes.
I like a lot.
Same.
I don't mind Podzinski here either. Kind of a scrapper that's going to be in that lineup for them.
I don't mind stashing Vassell, and I think Vassell is getting the bad ADP because the injury, but he's going to be there. Looking at him early November, he could be back early to mid November, and then you get a guy who last year was like 25-5.
I know they have a ton of guards here, but I mean, Keontae George has looked really good during the preseason.
Yeah, and there's nothing. Keontae George, if any of the guards are completely safe, it's Keontae George. Like, Jordan Clarkson's coming off the bench. Sexton is definitely a viable.
Both of those guys trade candidates probably too.
For sure. You extended Larry Markkinen, and you drafted like pieces around him, right?
Yeah.
Including Keontae George. I think Keontae George is one of the safer options on this team.
I don't mind wing, as we talk about, wing depth goes, right? So
yes.
Now we only need to start 2. We locked into elite wings.
We're taking darts. We're taking high upside plays, I think, at wing. Like, the rest of our wing needs just to be like players that we look at that will be playing later in the year, right? Or just like first or second year players that have a high ceiling. I think Bazulis has a massive ceiling for Chicago. I think what we've seen from Risha Shea this preseason has been pretty awesome.
How do you think they're going to utilize him? Because I've seen him in the lineup. I've seen him out of the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I think DeAndre Hunter's job is not safe. That's what I think.
Well, it's been that way for a few years now, right?
I think it's, I mean, I think it's really unsafe.
All right, we're on the clock.
This is
Would you do Zubac as our second big here? No.
Yes, but I don't think we need to go there. I think Simons. I know we have
he has such an elite scoring profile, right?
And it's a bad team, right? That he is going to lead in scoring.
Yeah, I agree.
So I
know our 4 guards right now are Maxey, Quickly, Garland, Simons. Our wings are Tatum, Durant, and Paul George, who's an auto draft, and then Miles Turner as our big here.
Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, the George pick is, looking at the ADP. We had, who did we have there? It was, let's see, Paul George. It was Jimmy Butler, Jalen Williams, Brandon Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably 3 players that I would have drafted ahead of Paul George, but just, we ran out of time. And as you mentioned, we will do this again. We will get better at it. So, so yeah, I mean, I think that's
if you're not going to fully pay attention, the cues are your friend. So.
Yes, the cues are definitely your friend.
And also you can set your own player rankings and import your rankings as well. Also I know for a fact, because I've read about, I've seen the X threads about it and things like that. Those who are auto drafting basically 150 of these teams are essentially just setting their cues, setting their roster limits, and letting it go to work, right? So
undoubtedly. I mean, much like DFS and much like all the other roster constructions that we do.
Yeah. So we autoed the Paul George selection there. A couple of the guys that were behind him. Not you probably would have gotten Brandon Miller, right? Probably would have been
Miller. I think Miller. Only reason J-Dub made it to where he made it was because of the injury. So I think there's a couple things. Obviously, we're good on guard depth.
Yeah.
For now, I do like Keontae George a lot. And
there's a couple of late guards that I like. I like Nembhard. I like Grady Dick. The way that they're playing in those teams right now. All right, we are up.
Let's look at our wings. Let's look at our bigs that are available.
All right, so this is kind of where we're at. We got 20 seconds on the clock here. Again, I have queued Herb. Porzingis is a stash play.
Porzingis is a high upside stash play. but he's another one that's not going to play back-to-backs.
Where do you want to go? 10 seconds.
Let's go Ricochet as a ceiling play late in the year.
Ran out of time. We took Herb Jones. We'll work on it.
It's delayed on my screen. I swear
It's delayed for me too. I'm hitting the button and I'm drafting on it, and then it says like pick's been made. So
you had 5 seconds on my screen. I just watched you have 5 seconds, and somehow we ended up with Herb Jones. I don't mind. Obviously,
we like Herb Jones, but obviously, listen. Here's the thing: Ricochet is probably going to be there on our next go around. So
yeah.
We can still get him.
We also probably at that point though. Look at the run right now. So this is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Zinger. Since our pick, Zinger, Valanciunas, Reed, Walker, Kessler. There's a team in front of us with one big right now. Hoping we can get Lively.
Did we miss out already on our guy?
Someone took Lively. Yeah, someone took Lively already. Where did he go?
Where did Lively go? No. Wow.
That's early.
That's a guy who wanted a guy.
Yeah, that is.
Dude, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Yeah, that was an interesting team.
Hold on. That guy has Wemby, Edie.
Yeah, that was an interesting team.
Lively. What are we doing here, sir?
That was a team.
That's us. I don't. Yeah, that's a team.
That is
all
a
right.
team.
So we definitely need a center now. We got Jakob Poeltl.
Yep.
We like Agankwu. Obviously, that'd be quite a reach to draft him now.
Well, is it or man, another situation where there's just a super high ceiling because we don't have to take him. No, like we can wait. I mean, Alex Sarr is another high ceiling guy that was going to be the number 1 pick until he wasn't.
Do you want to take
simply take? Yeah, I would take Ricochet.
Okay, I'm
good with Ricochet.
Again, my thing there is more often than not, like these are our 2 weekly wings, right? So
yeah. Well, there's always there's injury risk. There's end of season upside that with Ricochet, I don't think if Philadelphia is the 2 seed in the last 2 weeks of the year, and we're in a best ball playoff,
sure,
and Atlanta is. Over under wins is not very high. Ricochet is going to play a lot of minutes at the end of the year. I don't disagree with you, but it's one of those.
I also hate how they decide, like, why is Trace Jackson Davis a wing and not a big?
That is unfortunate,
right?
Trace Jackson Davis,
like he played center for them and mostly center, right? Like classified incorrectly here. I don't mind Westbrook this late.
I'm looking at the center spot. I think that there's a couple names. Is Mark Williams available? He's
yes,
35. He's ramping up right now. Obviously, Mark Williams, super high ceiling guy.
Yeah,
needs to stay healthy.
I mean, Drummond, if there's going to be the Embiid.
Yes, that was my next one. Drummond is obviously limited in some facets and not in others because when Embiid plays, he's going to be he's a backup center, which, we've seen Andre Drummond be really good.
I was going to say, 20 minutes, he goes out and gives you a double-double.
But he also will start in games where he doesn't, and we saw that this preseason, and he is going to get us a double-double. Like, he will get you a double-double. So I think between Okongwu, Mark Williams, Andre Drummond, those are like the 3, and then Clingain, who's your 39th ranked center off the board. Who knows if Portland sticks with Ayton all year or trades DeAndre Ayton, but Donovan Clingain is another.
Jakob Poeltl is still here. I mean, do you like Jakob Poeltl? He's going to be there.
Yeah, he's good. We can take.
Would you grab him and then grab one of the other guys as like a center 3?
Yeah, I mean, I think the third center we're going to take is not a Drummond.
Right. It's probably Mark Williams.
It's probably a Mark Williams who, has definitely more upside I mean, not that Drummond doesn't have upside, because if Embiid gets hurt again, like Drummond's your
if Embiid misses
center.
most of the year, and Drummond's going to go give you 15 and 12 every night, like
how many?
but Mark Williams could do that too, like
Mark Williams could do
my
that.
I guess my worry or not worry, but like they have Nick Richards. Williams has had injury issues. Like, what is the minute ceiling for Williams on a night-to-night basis, right?
I think it's pretty good considering that team, new coach, first year coach. And I mean, they took a project in Saloon in the first round this year. LaMelo is obviously coming off an injury. Bridges got the contract extension. They are full development.
Sure.
So like that, I don't know how long Nick Richards is for that job once Mark Williams is back. But obviously Mark Williams needs to stay in the court for that to pan out the way I think it will. Suggs, I see you have Suggs in the queue. I like that. What's our guards? We have 4 guards, or we have 5?
We got 4 guards: Maxey, Quickly, Garland, and Simons. Again, there are definitely some guards I like down.
I love Chris Paul, for the record. I see Chris Paul's available. He's going to start, and I mean, I do think there's something to be said about Chris Paul's like scoring ceiling at this point, but I think there's legitimate case for Chris Paul that he's like a double-digit assist guy this year.
You want to use Paul here?
Yeah, I like Chris Paul.
Okay.
I mean, he's a starting point guard with Popovich on a team with Wemby, right?
Sure.
He is going to. This is like he wanted to go here because there's Lob City. He's like, let me end my career in Lob City Junior.
Be the bailout 3 guy and go to Wemby. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a big Chris Paul fan.
Current roster comp is 5.52. Generally, we got 4 picks left to make here.
Yeah, one center with a ceiling, and then someone took Drummond. Apparently,
yeah.
Unless you took him off the queue, I don't think you did, right?
Someone can get drafted, yeah. Buffalo Bill, who has Jonas and Drummond also on the waiting on center strategy there.
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad strategy. I mean, I don't love Jonas. That's a little to me. I do like the Drummond. I do like the Drummond pick though.
I mean, there is Gafford. As much as we like Lively.
I don't think.
Well, Gafford just went anyway, so
I don't think he has the ceiling as like a Kongwu or Williams.
He didn't miss a shot during the playoffs for 4 games.
Yes, yeah, I know, but also like second year of Lively.
I agree.
The development is just like it's going to be hard for Gafford, I think, to get better. Where like Lively's like taking threes in practice, and he's developing.
I mean, he's a dunker. Right?
He's a dunker.
He's a rebounder, and he's a shot blocker. So, like, mini DeAndre Jordan incoming, sort of thing there. So,
I also am like, this is definitely the year Clint Capella is traded. Like Clint Capella is going to get traded. He's going to be a Laker.
Ooh, sniped my Nembhard play.
Yeah, you wanted Nembhard.
I love Nembhard. He's good.
Yeah, he's good. No, he is very good. He got a big contract extension. But I do think Capella's gone, and Okongwu's your starting center by whenever Atlanta starts to slide. So maybe I was a year early.
Mark Williams just got taken, so we'll just grab Okongwu here and we'll go.
Yeah,
from that.
Yeah.
Not going to play that game.
No, I mean especially when. Yeah, as soon as you start seeing, I mean, Mark Williams is your 35th.
What do you make of Wendell Carter being all the way down here? Like, what does that say for their rotation?
I mean, I think there's been obvious questions on whether or not they're going to use Isaac at the 5 again, because it was a good position for him, at least statistically for the Magic. It was a good position, but they just have so much front court depth because they still have Carter. Obviously, they extended Carter. They signed Wagner back, and they have Isaac. They readjusted his
contract.
So it's like he's now only making $86 million over the next year. So I mean, I think it's just a crowded room, and it's a very condensed offense. No, it's like we
Yeah,
got two guys that are gonna be the majority of the offense. So you have Isaac on your queue. I like obviously if he stayed healthy for a lot of the year. Oh, Koulibaly was just taken.
yeah,
Dyson Daniels, I like that. I do think he's going to come off the bench, but I don't think that matters. He's going to play a sizable role.
agreed.
He's going to play a sizable role.
Again, that's a team that could sell off like
Correct.
Bogdanovich and things like that.
Yeah. So we're done with center, so we don't even need to really pay attention
Yeah,
there.
no, we're on bigs. How do I get
There's
rid
a
of that?
couple. There's a couple like uh dartish players that I am intrigued by. Noah Clowney would be someone that I'd be interested in adding to the queue. He definitely has a path depending on first what he's going to be the backup center, but also depending on how healthy Simmons can be, he
Yeah,
can and what they do with Finney Smith if and when they trade Dorian Finney Smith as well. So um, Clarkson obviously is your 60th rank. I like your Norm. Did someone already take Norm?
yeah,
Yeah, I saw you had him on the
yeah.
queue.
He got
Damn,
picked.
Norm's going. That's a little early for Norm. Reed Shepard is obviously a guy that has a ceiling. Dalton Connect is a guy who has a ceiling. Um, can't take Lonzo. I like Pritchard. I like D'Anthony Melton down here. I don't know what in the world Golden State's going to end up doing. But guard 78 for D'Anthony Melton. I mean, he is a very
We are on the clock. Do we take our guy here, or
yeah. We could take Isaac for sure.
for those of you who don't know, we're the biggest Jonathan Isaac stands that probably live. So
Yes, probably is a loose term on the court.
on the court,
Jonathan, on
we also like Simone Fontecchio.
the court. We do. Um, that's an interesting one because like they added like adding Tobias Harris,
Yeah,
and we don't know we don't know how it's going to go with like Asar Thompson's all of his offseason troubles.
mm-hmm.
Not like but like he had the heart thing, so
Yeah.
now he's dealing with an illness. So yeah, I mean that's Fontecchio should be in the rotation, but
Is
I don't think
Tobias
he's.
long for that team?
Yeah, I think Tobias is.
Yeah,
I think that's a great fit. Honestly, Tobias Harris, very underrated pick in fantasy this year, in my opinion, because I think he's gonna have. I mean, no pressure like he had in Philly, and he's gonna have a lot of opportunity with that team. I think Toby is long for that team.
Nikola Jovic is slated to start for
Yes,
Miami.
yes, he's been good. He's been really good in the preseason.
Has some range, has some rebounding upside.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. We're in a range of our
We're probably
draft.
drafting a guard here, and then we can figure out our last.
Yeah, we're in a range where we're just drafting upside. We it's upside because we don't have the need for like that player who BR Andrews who just took Reed Shepard. I love
Yeah,
that. If Jalen Green were to get moved or if there's an injury to Van Vliet, I love Reed Shepard.
sure. All right, what are we doing here?
I mean, I like the Grady Dick play. I like
He's been really good offensively for them in this preseason.
yeah, the only thing I'd say is no Quickly in the preseason and no Barrett.
Yeah, he's also just a scorer, which
But
in
he
the
is
points.
yeah. I
You got
mean,
Io, you got Daniels.
yeah, I'm good with any of the three mentioned and D'Anthony Melton as well. So I would say just yeah.
Okay.
Missed your pick, but it's still Dyson Daniels. So
Yeah, I moved the queue, so at least we got the pick.
we had the queue. We had the queue, everybody. Everybody, we had a queue. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't
We've only
fret.
auto picked twice.
That was the first time. I wouldn't even call that because we had it correct. You know.
Right, we got
Dyson Daniels,
one pick left.
one pick left.
Who's the guy?
Let's go with a seal. I want like a ceiling guy.
Malcolm Brogdon. Wait for him to come back.
Another year on a terrible team. Poor guy.
He must be a terrible teammate. Just like
He seems like a great teammate. Guys like clapping on the sidelines.
yeah.
Is Kevin Porter available? I like Julian Strawther. I just saw Julian Strawther down there. Kevin Porter's
He is
drafted.
available. No, he was drafted.
Yeah. Just thinking of like upside plays. I've told you
Draft a fourth center.
I do like Salon. I know he's not gonna start the year, but I do think that there's a high ceiling for him later in the year. We like Cam Whitmore. We're Cam Whitmore fans. Dalton Connect is right there. There's obviously a chance for him to be in the rotation. I don't think we need a fourth center personally, but
I agree with you. I'm just seeing what's here.
Nothing
that's like standing out.
Fast PP. I don't know if he's still on the board, but
he left already.
He got drafted. Jarris Walker has been a guy the Indiana Pacers drafted the lottery last year. I don't know what the opportunity is going to be, but he's there. Gigi Jackson's going to return. A lot of hype for Ryan Dunn out of Phoenix this year. He's like a late round target. Fontecchio queued.
All right, we're on the board.
Any of the four you have listed, Io's probably the lowest on the totem pole because I think you already talked about it with Lonzo coming back. I don't love the Io.
I wish you had like a better like stat filler play.
Derek Jones is going to start the year. Christian Brown is guard 83. Christian Brown's going to start this year.
Yeah.
Strawther has been a monster in the preseason, so
we're gonna time out. We'll just take Grady Dick and we'll call it a day.
Right.
No, I hit play and then it said it wasn't my pick, so there's definitely a delay on the stream.
I saw.
So all right, well then that's our roster. We got Maxey, Quickly, Garland, Simons, Paul, Daniels, Grady Dick. Let's see if I can just pull up the big board. Can I pull up the big board here? Let's see.
I think probably right after the draft.
We're good. Let's see.
Okay.
All right, so we went Tatum, Durant, Maxey, auto pick of George, which will work out. It'll work itself out during the middle of the year. Not the worst.
Yes.
Quickly, Miles Turner, Darius Garland, Anthony Simons, Herb Jones, Zachary Ricochet. You're always the pronunciation guru here. Jakob Poeltl, Chris Paul, Gonku, Isaac, Daniels, and Dick. That's how we close out our double dribble best ball team here. 100K.
I think again, like wings are really hard to come by. So going 3 wings in our first 4 rounds there was pretty good to get that off the board nice and quick. So
I agree.
I like how that turned out.
I think we did well. So that was a little example of some things we're going to do. We're going to have plenty of Underdog content for all of you throughout the season as well. Again, if you haven't already signed up over at Underdog, go to fantasy.com/underdog. Use promo code ALARM. You can scan that QR code right here on the screen as well. New users get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a 99% off pick when they sign up. Go check out their Pick'em contest. Again, we'll have Pick'em contests, Battle Royal content. We'll do it all for you guys this year over at Underdog. So make sure you check it out and make sure you tune in here at the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, a share. James and I go live for the NBA DFS season each day. Get you guys ready for the main slate. We do a preview show as well to give you our first thoughts and look to get you ready throughout the day. So full action for the NBA season coming up. We look forward to being there with you just a few days away from now. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the double dribble streets over the next few days here as well. James, any final thoughts?
No, just basketball, baby. Basketball is back.
Basketball is back. It's a wonderful time of year. We'll catch you all later, guys. Get in our Discord. Follow us on X, and we'll see you later.